Hey everyone, happy Friday. Welcome back to the Future Frontier. My name is Peter Burchfield. You're watching a self-leadership podcast here on YouTube. It's called Prepare to Go There. It's all about how do you lead yourself and stay focused on your future. And we've been going on this extended coaching journey for leaders, for friends, over 18 hours now. So this is episode 119. We're coming up to the season finale of season 2. And I am so excited about this conversation. And I am so grateful that you are showing up to put in the work again. You know, we've got to do our future work now because everything else is pretty much fake work, in my opinion. Yeah. There's responsibilities and there's routines and rhythms, but we want to be working on and focusing on the things that are helping us stay focused on the future. So that way we're dreaming and we're investing and we're growing intentionally, because it's not going to happen accidentally. We have to show up again and again. And that's why today is a gift. Today is an opportunity. It's the only day that we can put in the work. And the rest is out of our hands. And so we've got to let go of what already happened. And we got to stay focused on what can happen. And we got to make today count. We're going to dive into a conversation with my friend Joshua, and he's going to be talking about how to stay grounded and keep growing at the same time when you're going through a very high pressure season. And I think we could all relate to that in a bit, right? Because we're all experiencing high pressure in one way or another. And I want to invite you to lean into this conversation. It's only going to be, I would say we're aiming right at the 45-minute mark today. But I really want you to enjoy this conversation because it's going to help you let off the stress and reframe your focus so that way you really can go through high pressure seasons without imploding or exploding. And so we're going to get into that conversation that I had with Joshua in a little bit. But before that, I want to give you a call to action. And the call to action here is to take the quiz for Pioneering Archetypes. You know, you really can pioneer this year, but you're going to have to get some fresh language around the way you want to lead. How are you going to be a leader this year? You can't copy other people and think that you're going to get what they got. You're going to have to innovate, adapt, and adopt principles and best practices that get you into the future better prepared and more fully present. You've got to get unstuck. And you got to just get started. And so having some fresh language to better understand yourself, to better understand the way you approach life and leadership and teamwork and the future is going to be a game changer for you. I remember what it was like when the light bulb went off on me. And I said, oh, I get it. I've been basically trying to lead out of someone else's strengths or other people's stereotypes. I need to be me. I need to do this the way I've been wired, the way I've been gifted. And when I started to embrace the way I was created by God, then I could step up with confidence and know that I was really ready to go. And so that's what I want to do is just give you some encouragement. My wife, Sarah Joy, helped me make this incredible quiz. And it's fast. It's free. I want to tell you about it one more time. You'll go to the link at the bottom of this video. And there you're going to find just a series of questions, all multiple choice, very easy, but it's going to make you think, and it's going to make you, you know, kind of be honest. And so go through that and take the quiz. And then your result is going to give you one of the 4 pioneering archetypes, because we've been talking about pioneering leadership throughout this podcast. And I'm emphasizing the need for pioneering leaders. And you're like, all right, Peter, I get you, but you know, where do I begin? Begin here with the quiz. It's going to be a game changer. You're going to better understand the way you approach the future frontier as a pioneering leader. Maybe you're a homesteader. Maybe you're a pathfinder. Maybe you're a trailblazer. Maybe you're an explorer. But you have to dial in on how you are going to pioneer this year. Otherwise, you're just going through the roller coaster ride. You're going through the ups and the downs, and it's taking you right back where you started. And instead, I want you to actually go somewhere new and needed, so that way you can lead others there. And people will thank you for getting out of that rut and actually being a leader. So let's dive into this conversation with Joshua. He is a awesome leader in the education space and in ministry. And I wanted to have a conversation with him about how he keeps his confidence, his joy, his focus when he's surrounded by many high pressure responsibilities. And he carries it really well. And I wanted to learn from that. And I think this conversation will mean a lot to you too. So I'll be back at the end to give you a call to action for this, as well as how you can pioneer the year too. Let's listen right now to Joshua Andrade. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Oh, Peter, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
We've been friends for many, many years, but for those that are just now getting to meet you, would you introduce yourself and kind of give us a flavor of what you're working on right now?
Sure. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Joshua Andrade. 36 years old, turning 37 in June. I'm a big family guy. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Tanya. I got 2 beautiful children, Holly, who's 6, Hezekiah, who is 4, and they are bundles of joy and energy. And I'm currently assistant principal at a Christian private school. So that's a big chunk right there. And I'm also really, really heavily involved in church. So those are the main things that I got going on in my life right now.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man, for all you're doing and all the areas you're leading in. And I just really appreciate the way you've invested yourself in that community and in that region. And you have a future focus. That's something that I've always been inspired by, is the vision that you're carrying and that you're putting into your teams. And it's the Rio Grande Valley area. Is that a good way to describe it?
RGV 956, Rio Grande Valley. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. And you've also been a longtime viewer of the podcast. You're like one of the first to jump on the live stream, to comment. I think it worked out in season 1 where you could jump on. So what have you enjoyed about Prepare to Go there, and maybe even just on the journey, you know, as we've been taking on different topics?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the first time I saw one of your YouTube videos, I think it was in last June. And then when I noticed the podcast happening a few months later, I jumped right on that. One, because I know you. I know what you bring. I know what you carry. And I said, I need to get something there. I know there's something for me. Well, little did I know that it was going to be exactly pretty much what I needed for my current situation. One of the main things I really enjoyed, honestly, was finding the weaknesses in my own area of leadership. Because you can't grow if you don't know what you're missing.
Yes.
So you really hit a lot of points that were some strengths, but there was a lot of weaknesses that I knew I needed to improve if I was going to be in leadership, because it's not just my life that's involved, it's everybody else's around me, plus the vision of whatever else is going on. So when you hit those certain nerve points, or like, man, I need to pick up on that. I I feel like I'm really close, but I'm not close enough. It just really challenged me to make sure that my leadership was always growing with the vision that was around me, especially since other people, like I said, are involved. I don't want to waste anybody's time. We have places we need to go, and there's such a heavy heart in me to make sure that we're all going there together. So I invested my time. I made a chunk out of my day to make sure this is not going to be something that gets interfered with on the normal. Like, this is going to be something I'm here to sit down for. I'm going to take off all the notes I possibly can. I'm going to review them, and then I'm going to put it to work and just watch the fruit come from that.
That is amazing. It's so encouraging because I've gone back and forth on, do I just make videos and produce them and kind of throw them out there, or do I keep showing up live? And I just said, no, I just want to do it live. Like, even if it's bad for my algorithm, or even if not a lot of people, can show up every time, like, it's okay. It's my commitment to keep showing up. And I want to have that conversation if possible. People can jump in the live stream and, work on their leadership in real time. And just to have that kind of space, I believe does build community. And that's, ultimately the goal is to let pioneering leaders know you don't have to feel isolated when you're going for it. There's other people. We're not all in the same front line, but we're definitely, going for the same stuff. And so that's kind of been a part of this project, is just encouraging people that they really can lead themselves when no one's looking, and lead themselves to new places, even if other people aren't going there. And so, started the course, Pioneer the Year, and then also created a free quiz to help people realize that they really can pioneer the year. You have been through masterminds with me, and you've taken the quiz. So you have like a quiz result, a Pioneer Archetype. Would you kind of tell us your results? I'm always interested to see where leaders land on that.
Yeah, for sure. I took it twice. When you're growing in the season, you change, you evolve. It doesn't have to be a long span of time for things to get moving. I started off as an explorer, which made a lot of sense. I've always been a very general person. I love this, I love this, I love that, bits and pieces here. And then I took it again today, and with all that, putting this to the plow and going through this, and all that happened from September to now I'm in the trailblazer mode. Apparently. So I'm really excited about that, because I'm a very people person. I just, God put that in me, I believe. And I don't like to be alone. And knowing that my intentions are to bring a team with me to share in what we're doing. It's not about one person, it's about the vision. That just got me real excited to know that I'm purposed to do things with people in this world right now. It's awesome. Thank you for that quiz.
Yeah, no, it was a fun project, and I just want to help people start getting that realization. Oh, when he says pioneering or pioneer leader, like, it's me. I can pioneer this year. I can make this year different. I can, get out of that repeat year cycle. I can get out of the ruts. I don't have to have do-over goals every year. I can actually lead myself with confidence and competence, and know that the work I'm putting in today is going to have, big ripple effects in the future. I want to pull us up just a little bit. I want to dive into the conversation, which is how pioneering leaders can stay grounded and keep growing even during demanding times. And we need pioneering leaders now more than ever, because we've never been here before, right? We're experiencing disruption and craziness and crisis on the outside, and then we've got questions and challenges closer to home. And pioneering leaders are going to be a strength for those around them. And simply put, I've been summarizing pioneering leadership is the ability to navigate and create the future of what you do. And that's so valuable, because that's what everybody needs, right? They need
everybody
they
needs
need
it.
wisdom, and they need hope, and they need like a guide that's going to say, I'm not just going to tell you where to go, but I'm gonna actually go on that journey with you.
Right, right.
And so one of the features of Pioneering Leaders that's going to be different than maybe previous iterations is that they're leading during demanding times. You know, that there's going to be more pressure on the systems. There's going to be more demands on the teams. And Pioneering Leaders are going to be able to thrive even in those conditions. And so I'd love to just kind of pick your brain and learn from your experience because man, when I have conversations with you and text messages back and forth, I'm so impressed by the high volume events that you and your team pull off, and then all of the multifacets that's going on in your community. You're doing so many different things. You're doing it at high velocity, high volume. Oh yeah, and we're going to put the pressure on as well. And I mean, you just stay cool as a cucumber. I mean, it's just amazing how you carry yourself through that. And so I just kind of want to get started with any initial thoughts about why pioneering leaders are needed right now. And then we'll get into, practical strategies about how you stay grounded and how you keep growing even when your schedule is pretty maxed.
Yeah. First, I want to apologize if you hear any kids screaming and this and that. There's a playground right next to my office right now. It's full blown school still going on right now. For those viewers that don't know, yeah.
Keep it up.
And I locked the doors too. Made sure unplug the phone, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to pioneer and future leaders, like I said before, if you don't know, you can't grow. And when someone is walking it with you but has walked it before you, when they tell you something, you can take that for what it is. If I won't listen necessarily 100% to someone that's never been there. What are you telling me? Are you telling me an idea that you've never experienced? How am I going to know it's going to work?
Yeah.
Or I'm in this pretty serious situation right now, and yeah, you can give me your nice advice about how to get out, but have you actually gone out of that situation with your own advice? No, well then I don't know how to listen to that. I don't know what to take for that because this is my life we're dealing with. And so when it comes to pioneer leaders, I'm listening to someone that has been there, done that, and still doing it. And what you're telling me is what is still current today for what I'm going through, even if there's a variation of what we're going through and what we're talking about, the majority of what we're talking about is going to still be able to apply. So we need 100% more of those people everywhere in so many different facets, because there's a master level to any area of your life. And to get there, you need to be talking to someone that is striving for that master level and a little bit higher than you. I don't care if it's cooking. I mean, we have some pit masters in our church that they will teach us how to do it, but they're not telling us though from what they did 30 years ago. They're doing it still constantly, the practice. Yeah, they will have a lot here, but if they don't have that practice, they won't be fluid. It'll be a little rusty, some mistakes here. No, these guys are doing it on the regular. If it's with golf, I'm a golf coach right now. And if I don't play golf with these guys, they're going to chalk me up to those that can't teach. Well, not this coach. I'm doing it. I'm playing with you today. When we're done, I'm going to take them to the golf course and I'm going to walk with them. I'm going to play with them and I'm going to be there with them. So a pioneer leader, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to be with someone that's ready to, if you make a mistake, they already kind of foresaw that you would, and they'll catch you at that moment and be that kind of reassurance that everything's going to be okay. You make a mistake, that's fine. Let's get up. Let's get moving. It's going to be okay. We can get out of this together.
Yes. Man, that's so good. And we need leaders that are willing. I like how John Maxwell says it. A leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way.
Yes.
And it's so important. But, I mean, anybody can lead when it's sunny, it's easy, things are going good.
Sure.
But the pressure really comes on when maybe you're in a growth season and there's a lot of momentum and things are taking off and you're taking on higher volume. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all are hosting events with multiple thousands Is that right?
We have had events, yes, where we had, for example, we had a fundraiser chicken plate sale. The line was a quarter of a mile long for 3 hours. We cooked
That
almost
is
3,000 chickens. I
amazing.
mean, it's just it is what it is at that point, and
Wow.
yeah,
That
and
you're making
the,
me hungry, bro. So, and then, it's not just doing well in one setting, but
no,
it's the home life, and then it's the school, and then it's the church community, and then it's the team, and then
yeah,
it's the support system, and then it's all of the the infrastructure and the logistics that are all making it happen. And so, I mean, when things start picking up, either hey, we're growing and things are moving faster, or hey, there's some adversity happening right now, a pioneering leader has to know how to keep their grit and show the way and
yeah,
lead others through.
absolutely.
So how do we like muster the courage to take on all those challenges that we can't anticipate?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, as a human being, if you haven't already, if you're watching, if you haven't already felt like curling up into a ball and just hiding for a while, you're not human, man. You're just
Yeah.
not. You're gonna feel like moments that are really, really tough. There, unfortunately, there are fires to put out. And there are situations that it feels like, how in the world is this gonna get better or change or work out? Um, I'm just I'm a big faith guy. I
Hmm.
just have a strong foundation in believing in something, and I believe in God. I believe in my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, and I believe that that is my rock in which I stand. And when I just look to Him, I just I get the courage. It's when I take
Yes.
my eyes off that I might feel a little bit more uneasy. So I mean, that's just me personally. That's where I am. Where
That's so good.
I can't do it without him. I can't. I'm not gifted enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not experienced enough. There's always every person's going to feel like I'm not enough, no matter where you are, no matter what level.
Hmm.
But I honestly feel like that. So when I get over myself and realize that I just to begin with can't do it, I go to the one that can. And so every situation, whether it's good or bad, whether it's a sunny day or a rainy day, I just I can't take my eyes off of him because at any given moment something could happen, and yeah, you gotta figure it out. You're on job, you're on site, you're on command right now. We got to get this thing going. This isn't a put it away later and we'll get back to it when it goes away. It's right there in your face at the very moment, and we got to deal with it. So I need answers, and so I go to the one that gives
Yes.
answers, and that's just how I roll. I've done enough life without that role, and it didn't roll very well. So again, experience teaches you a lot, and
Yeah.
just learn. Just don't let lose sight of where I can stay stable and move forward, and that's my faith in Jesus. And so whenever things do come up, that just makes it a lot easier for me to say, okay, feelings aside, I've looked who can help me. Now I look at the situation and I just flow with him, flow with it, and it gets taken care of.
Yes. Man, that is so good to be able to be present,
Mm,
to realize, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm facing,
right,
but I still know what to focus on,
right.
and to not get disrupted,
Mm,
discouraged, distracted, disqualified. To really
mm,
say, I'm not denying what's going on around me, but it's not time to curl up in that fetal position. It's time
right,
to actually step up to the challenge, step into the vacuum, and be a leader. And I
right.
remember, well, two things. One, Sarah Joy and I were doing a like garage sale, and we got to meet different people and stuff, and
Sure.
it was an awesome moment. I got to meet one of the original Navy SEALs.
Wow.
He was like in one of the first groups, and he was a Jesus loving person. And he
Mm,
said, "We lead by example. We lead by example." I was like, "What? Have you been watching Prepare to Go there? I mean,
come on.
I should be watching his podcast,
Yeah.
And I was just so blown away by how tough, obviously, he was,
Mm.
But when he talked about his faith and his motivation for his grandparenting now and raising his family, they had adopted, and
Wow.
I was just blown away that there are some really, if I could say it, like tough and even scary people out there, but they have learned where strength really comes from. And the
Yeah.
reason that they are strong is because they have found strength that they can turn to. And so
Yes.
that was just kind of an epic moment in and of itself. But
Wow.
then also, I was trying to think of the other thing. I might have to move on. This is so good, man. I love just kind of having this free flow
Absolutely.
conversation. And oh, I remember when Harvey happened. Where did
Mm.
Harvey obviously hit y'all too, or?
Just outskirts of us, and then kind of moved up. It did hit enough to where there was damage a lot, but it didn't cause. It was more like trees and fences and stuff like that. But I think it got a little bit harder on y'all's end.
Yes, yes. I mean, the rain literally sat on our
Yeah,
area and just
yeah.
kept raining, flooding. My wife, Sarah Joy, we were still dating at the time, but in fact, I was supposed to propose and get
Oh,
engaged to Sarah Joy, but the plans got shifted because Harvey
yeah.
wouldn't leave, and she was calling the Coast Guard to go rescue her coworkers
Oh
because
my
they were getting
goodness.
flooded out of their homes. So, but a pioneering leader experiences something like that, which is unexpected,
Hmm.
disruptive, even dangerous.
Yes.
And you have two options. Either you're going to fear the future or you're going to
Mm.
pioneer the future.
Come on.
And we have to have a go for it mentality that
Yes.
says, I didn't train for the perfect scenarios, I trained
Mm.
for this scenario.
That's right.
I'm not just trying to, rise to the occasion. I've put in the work. Now, when something unexpected happens, I can still have trust that I've put in the work, that I am prepared, and I'm going to fall back on my
That's
preparation.
good. It's
And
so
so
good.
it's so important that we actually see the value of today, the
Hmm.
training that's going on today, the preparation that's going on today, because you can't get a textbook or a playbook to know how you're going to respond in
No,
those crazy situations, but somehow it does all work together for good
it does.
when you have that hopeful future
Hmm.
and you've got the value system that we're talking about here. So I want to kind of just zoom in on your leadership approach, Joshua, because you're doing an amazing job. And I want to just kind of reverse engineer it so we can learn from you and with you. And when things either pop and craziness is kind of happening all around us, or when we just get in demanding seasons,
Yeah.
where we can't slow down. We know that every week we're supposed to have an off day, and we know we're supposed to take vacations, and we know we're supposed to do all this stuff, but we don't get that luxury all the time. We
No, no, we don't.
when you get on a train and it takes off, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to figure out how are you going to stay grounded and how are you going to keep growing at the same time. And I found when life gets fast, those are the two things that we throw out the window first. We
Mm.
fudge that and we say, well, I don't really need to be that grounded. I'm just kind of rolling and just kind of winging it here. Or we say, well, I've already grown enough. I had some training or I went to college, and so I don't need to keep leveling up. But you have figured out a way to stay grounded and to keep growing with a very high volume and high pressure environment. And so let's kind of take that first piece, staying grounded. What does staying grounded look like for you personally or your leadership? Are there a few things that you say, hey, as long as I keep doing these things, I know that I'm going, to stay grounded, and
Mm.
and I'll stay strong for whatever the challenges may be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the first things for me when it comes to staying grounded is one, I have titles, but that doesn't mean I'm higher than anybody else. This first and foremost, that just means that I have more reason to serve. And that's what
Come
I'm
on.
supposed to do. I'm just a servant. I serve. I have a position. I think of an officer, I think of a firefighter. Their job is to serve the need. And so that's not me to be served. That's not me to be worshiped by any means. That just means that I have a responsibility. So when I remind myself that a lot, I don't have any time to think about anything else. So when there's a situation that my title allows me to get involved with, that I'm bringing a servant heart to it. I'm not trying to get on top of anything or anyone. There's no win in that. There's no gain in that. In fact, it's detrimental to your relationships and to the future of the vision. When you start to crawl to the top, you're going to fall real quick, because that's pride, and pride always falls. One of the other things I do, for me, especially in this year, I'm being very honest with you, this is the busiest that I have ever been. And since we last talked, it got even busier. It sped up even more. And it's amazing that God knows what he's doing. And again, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, I believe in the word. And he says he's never going to give you anything you can't handle. So if there's things going on in my life right now, it means I can handle it. And as long as I stay close to him, he's going to teach me how. So one of the main important things that I've done is learn how to stop. Don't need an hour. I need a moment to just stop. I just need a moment. It might be 30 seconds. It might be a minute. It might even be 5 seconds to just breathe for a second, just real quick. But if I can learn how to embrace that moment, enough happens in my mind to clear up and to get refreshed again. And then I move forward. It's just a straight shot into my system to just put everything back in alignment. Things kind of get a little discombobulated with all the stuff going on. And when you just learn how to enjoy a moment, and I got that, believe it or not, from a martial arts movie when I was younger. And it was a Jet Li movie. I think it's called Hero. And I really do believe the world got a lot of stuff from the word first. I think they're just ideas twisted. And I saw that in this one, where this guy was in the village and he wasn't a part of it. They adopted him. And he goes in there trying to do what they do. And they're working in the rice fields. So they're putting a lot of stuff in the fields. And they're doing things a certain way. And he just wants to work. It's not organized. It's not clean. It's not the culture. And they're looking at him like, what are you doing? Well, he's trying his best to show that his gratitude. It's not working that way. But there was one moment in which he was really wanting to work. All of them stopped. They all looked up. They closed their eyes. They put their arms out. And this gust of wind kind of hit the area. And it was like a 10-second refresh. And then they went back to work. But it was culture where when there was a hint or a sign of a refreshing coming, they all knew to stop. And he didn't. He had no clue. He just go. And in it being that the people had to make and fix his mess.
Wow.
They had to make do with it and fix it. And he saw that. And he's like, well, I can't go my route, can't go my way. I got to do with what's working. And apparently that's their way. But that refreshing, I know, comes from the Holy Spirit. And that's what I believe. And that doesn't have to be outside. It could be inside of my office. It could be in my car. So when I feel that tug where I need to stop and refresh and just let that refreshing come in, 5 seconds, 10 seconds is that moment does more than a lifetime that I could do in work. It really, really does. So staying grounded for me, it helps me keep me in the moment. And I try not to feel overwhelmed with everything, because I stopped the momentum of the overwhelming coming this way, put it on pause. I don't have time for you right now. And I just stop. And I just let everything just kind of pause for a little bit. And then from there, I make my next move. And most of the time, my next move is straight to God. I just, from that point, I just go to him and I talk to him about whatever, or I listen. But it puts me in a place where I don't need to get caught going downhill.
Yes.
I can stop my momentum. There will always be a situation. There will always be a need. I need to stop for at least 10 seconds for myself. I'm not going to get that hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, or even a day. In fact, this year, there has not been a day off. Even on days off for school, there's always something going on. It's just, that's just how it is. So I need to learn how to make the most out of a moment and let that refresh me and keep me present. So where I'm not wishing I can go somewhere else, and I'm wishing if something could stop, it's going to be there. Handle that, stop, gather yourself. It clears up the mind. And then you can see things a lot clearer. So you can make that strategic move, left, right, forward, back, stay still. And then
That is it.
calculated, you go forward.
Man, man, if you're listening, you need to go back 90 seconds or 2 minutes whenever that riff just started and listen to that again, because that is so intuitive and really important that we catch that.
Yeah.
It's that ability to calibrate
Mm.
and to stay sensitive to what's going on around us, so that way we can give the best of us and not the rest of us
Absolutely.
into each moment. Thank you, man, for sharing that.
Yes, sir.
I also like how you just have a healthy dose of reality. You just know you're in a season where you're not going to get that 3 hour, break. You know the context that you're in.
Hmm.
You know the season you're in, and now you can embrace it. You
Yeah.
embrace it for all that it's worth. You
Hmm.
know that it's an opportunity, it's a responsibility, and hopefully it's not going to be forever.
Right.
But you're going to leverage it well right now.
Hmm.
Are there any other things that you're thinking through or that help you just stay grounded? Whether it's key relationships that you will prioritize, or maybe it's something like journaling or podcasting, or I
Hmm.
mean, just what are some other things that you do that help you, really what you're talking about, stay grounded in the moment? Don't mentally escape, don't drift, don't fall asleep at the wheel, but you're really staying alert and engaged with the role of leading. What other thoughts come to mind there?
Yeah, you can't go through this alone. That's first of all. I mean, you have that spiritual help, but I really believe that God put relationships here for a reason. And I think one of the detriments to leadership would be I can do this on my own. I don't want to look bad like I don't have it all together. So you're just going to stay by
Mm,
yourself. And again, pride comes before the fall. So when you don't share with someone your weaknesses or your hurts, your experiences, if you feel lost at that moment, if you don't have at least one person that you can
come on.
confide in, not to rely on them to get you out, but at least
Hmm.
to be there to give you some insight. And again, not even to vent. I'm not talking about venting. They're not my garbage can. I'm not trying
Mm,
to give them my garbage. I'm trying to
come
give them
on.
a real situation that's mine, and they might have some help for me that I would really appreciate. And not to use them or abuse them and only go to them when I need something either. This is somebody that I need to have a fair back and forth relationship, equal, unevenly, not unevenly yoked relationship. This is evenly yoked. They
Hmm.
can freely come to me for anything. I can freely go to them for anything. This is a love relationship. And a big person that for me is my wife. She's going to be the closest one before pastors, before other friends that I've grown up with. But she's the one that's with me at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. And I'm going to be with her for all the years that we're together on this earth. So I need to tell her some things that I'm dealing with, and she might have a different view, being the type of person that she is, to help me see something differently. And I believe that's on purpose from God to say, hey, sometimes we give ourselves tunnel vision, and we need to
Mm,
step back and give the scope to somebody else, and they can see it from a different lens, and then
yes.
kind of give you some insight about maybe you are doing it right, and you just needed that reassurance that no, keep the course, you're doing well. Or you know what, you've been giving it your 100%, but you need to put that 100% this way, and everything will clear up. Or it's just I talking, and when I a lot of times this is how it works for me. When I talk to somebody, especially my wife, the answer comes
Yes.
just because you felt that strength that I'm not alone, and I'm free to now discover or explore the possibilities of
Hmm.
what could be. But if I'm by myself and I'm dealing with the pressures of the world and the job and being a dad and all these different things, I might not feel so confident in myself at that point.
Hmm.
And so being with someone, talking with somebody, sharing those experiences healthily, to a point where it's not damaging that relationship either. It
Yeah.
just really keeps me grounded to where they might even share some of their experiences that match with me. And then we
Hmm.
can collab together and then go about our business. And it just really, really brings the sun in a rainy day. It really does.
Come on. Man, that's so good. So staying refreshed, catching those moments, keeping that, 360 situational awareness,
Right.
realizing that you're leading out of humility, and then taking inventory of the relationships. I love how you said they're not a garbage can. I
No.
think that's so important.
Mm.
Even if you have, an opportunity to hang out or interact with a professional care provider, like a counselor or whatever, like they're a person too.
Yes.
They're a relationship that you need to value as well. I
Absolutely.
have, I went through a phase of just unprecedented stress, and I didn't really know how to lead myself through that, and I needed other people. And
Hmm.
I had two specific key relationships that helped me. Obviously, the Lord and my wife, but I'm talking about as resources,
Hmm.
that I was drawing from. And one friend, it was mostly through just small voice messages on the phone, just like 5 minute or even 90-second voice
It helps
messages
so
here
much.
and there, just to
Hmm.
kind of back and
Yeah.
forth, ping pong, back and forth. And that was kind of the consistency of that, or the frequency of that. And then I had another key relationship. He's of an older generation. He would be like in a mentoring relationship. And I didn't get to talk to him as often. But when I did, I got like 5 hours with him.
Wow.
And so what you're describing is, it doesn't matter whether you get 5 minutes a day or 5 hours in every 6 months.
Hmm.
You got to be grateful for the opportunities you have, and you take them in, and then you keep going,
Right.
and not getting so impatient, and just saying, because that's what that stress and that anxiety can do, is it makes you become very impatient, and then you
Yeah.
can go to extremes. You can lash out, or you can make really bad decisions.
Absolutely.
And so you might have to just be okay with 5 minutes at a time,
Hmm.
or you might be okay with, hey, you're going to get a good burst, but it's only going to be once every few months.
Right.
And just having that gratitude, having that patience, and realize that if you are leading yourself with integrity and intentionality, you are on a healing path.
Yes, sir.
And so
Yes, sir.
stick with it. Um,
Absolutely.
let's pivot to the next part of this, which is, we're leading, we're going hard, we're serving others, we're in a pressurized season. Maybe there's a lot of demands that are happening. It can be easy to stop growing.
Hmm.
It can be easy to say, I just don't have time to read that book. I don't have time to, work out. I don't have time to think about my next phase. You already mentioned it about tunnel vision, getting out of that tunnel vision where you're just kind of stuck in one rut. But how important is it to keep growing? And what are some practical things that you have found that work for you to help you just kind of stay in that growth
Mm.
mindset, in that growth mode, even when you've got a max schedule?
I don't, I'm not proud of what I'm about to say, but that's how I learned it. When it came to a certain area that I enjoy in life, a skill that I developed, students around me liked that and they wanted to learn that. And
Mm,
so I spent most of my time teaching it. Problem was, I wasn't teaching myself to keep elevating with their elevation. So
mm,
that teacher to student ratio kind of dropped. They looked
mm,
up to me because I could teach them something. But when I couldn't teach them that anymore, at least they felt that way, that respect level kind of was in a position to where, do I continue this teacher student mode with this teacher or not?
mm,
And unfortunately, with some of them, they decided to pursue that any other way. And that, again, everyone is responsible for their own actions and things of that nature. But as a teacher, the best place to be able to teach someone is to have more to teach.
mm,
And when you don't have any more to teach, then you've lost that place in their heart, for at least from that realm, from that perspective. That's all they can receive from you if they feel like you can't give them much anymore. And that was kind of a hard pill to swallow. And that wasn't necessarily more their fault, where I would take the responsibility where I was. I got tunnel visioned. I spent most of my time teaching, forgetting that I need to grow as well. Because I always want to be in a place where I can be an influence to somebody. Not that I need them to love me, but I want to be able to love them and impart in them and bless them. So from that point, and that was a few years back, from that point, I made it a point in my heart. I got to continue to grow. I don't want to lose people in my life, especially if it's partly my fault. Let everyone do what they need to do. That's fine. But I need to be able to do my part, my responsibilities, what God's put me to be stewardship of. I would hate for my daughter and my son to not want to come to me because they felt like they couldn't learn from me anymore. That would feel horrible as a father. I want to be able to, yeah, they're going to grow at that, but I want to grow too, so we can have that talk, that time that we'd want to spend together. There's just so many benefits of growing, and they actually outweigh the cons of not growing. It just feels so good to know that I can impart into somebody's life and be an influencer and be effective and be currently in their life at that moment, which opens doors to allow me into other parts of their lives as well, because they honor and respect that. So from that point, I had to come to a realization: I have time. I have time. It don't feel like I have time, but if you take the pre-planning approach and you take a moment in your schedule during one day out of the week to say, this is everything that I do. These are the things that I really want to focus on, but I have no idea how to do it. But let me take a look at the scope of everything that I got. And you might find out that you do a little bit more in this spot that doesn't need to be there. And you can allocate that for something else. Or you can find out that I'm doing something that is a part of my 24 hours like everybody else. And I really don't need that. Even if it's a personal thing that I was using just to kind of relax, was it really investing in myself, or was it kind of just letting go of the reins for a second? I'd rather put that into something that is actually going to benefit me, and I'm going to feel a lot better than that one moment of just, I don't know, whatever it would be. So to have the heart of grounded means that you can grow. You're in a place to realize that you still can grow, and it has to be in that order. If you try to grow, but you're not grounded, you're going to, who knows where you're going to go. You're going to find out you got lost. But if you're grounded first, it really puts you in a stance to look at the right approach from the right level and to say, okay, I have 24 hours like everybody else. I do want to grow. I think I need to evaluate my life and what I'm doing. And that's where I found out that even in the busiest season of my life, I have time.
Yes.
That doesn't mean I have as much time as I'd like, but it's not about what I like, it's about what I need. And what I need to take advantage of. So in doing that alone, just in this season, I got rid of this. I moved that here. I mean, like I said, I got a bunch of things going on today. We're hosting a marriage conference this weekend. There's just a lot going on, but everything has its place. Yes. And it's amazing how when you just put a little bit of time aside, it'll really line a lot of things up, and you won't feel that anxiety. You won't feel that pressure like you would any other given day, because at least you have an approach to say, I can stop that hole from, leaking a little bit. There's a wound there. I can kind of bandage that up, or I could just remove the problem entirely. Being grounded helps you grow, but you also, being grounded, you need to want to be grounded. If you don't want to be grounded, you're not with any intention to grow. And that's the truth. You're selfish. You're about yourself. You're mad at the world. There's probably unforgiveness in your heart. You have no vision, all these different kinds of things. So I would say first have a heart to be grounded, and that'll put you at a level of maturity to say, okay, from here, where do I go? I want to grow. And then as you're going, you're going to realize there's a bunch of people in the same boat as you, and you just bring them along the journey.
Man, so good. So good. Joshua, where can people reach you or learn more about the work you're doing, whether that's with the school or whatever team you want to emphasize right now?
Yeah, so our websites are starting to get back up. The one that we have now is our church. Both of them crashed about a year ago. I don't know how a cloud crashes, but it did. So worldharvestfamilychurch.org. And then we also have an app But you can find me personally on Facebook, Joshua Andrade, on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to shout out, give me a message or whatever. I'd just love to get in contact with anybody.
Amazing. Hey, we've got an awesome leadership community growing, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. Thanks so much. Remember, guys, you're going places, but you got to prepare to go there. Wow. My goodness. I enjoyed that conversation live, obviously, but man, just listening to it again and again after the edit and, getting it to where it is now, I was blown away. So again, a big thank you to Joshua. Unfortunately, I have to keep practicing your last name, but go reach out to Joshua and his team. They're doing an amazing job, really frontline leaders, pioneering leaders. They've been steady, and I know that they're ready for whatever happens next. Wow, I think that was probably one of the most quotable episodes of Prepare to Go There. Normally, it's very conversational. We go long, we think strong. I'm all about, processing things and the journey and strategizing. I think I got more one-liners out of Joshua than any other episode. And so if you're listening to this now or later, please go tell Joshua thank you, because this was powerful. He talked about, the difference between being a guru or a guide, actually going on the journey, getting involved in the journey with people. He talked about the importance of servant leadership and, leading from a place of humility and serving. There was a huge insight that he brought about recognizing when refreshing moments happen and leveraging them, actually stopping to get the refreshing, because you don't know when that refreshing moment may be. And so it's about stewarding when those refreshing moments do come. I thought that was stellar. He can say it way better than I can, but knowing when to stop, because so many of us, we're calendar people, we're planners, we're system thinkers, and we're like, all right, here's the rhythm, here's the ratio, here's the rules. And it's going to be way more organic, way more relational. There's parts of our lives that are seasonal. And so it really is about not predicting, but preparing to, seize those moments, seize those opportunities. In fact, that's like a whole nother talk. I'm already kind of thinking about season 3, and I get inspired when I have conversations like that and when I learn along with amazing pioneering leaders like all of you. He talked about, making the most of the moment. Don't wish that you were somewhere else. Don't mentally escape, because that can be draining and even damaging. He said, you have to go through life with other people and be in relationship with other people. Don't try to be a lone leader. And so many of us will, lean into isolation because we don't want to look bad. And that's the wrong approach. I loved how he talked about, don't turn a valued relationship into a trash can. Wow, that was so powerful. And it's so true, because these are people that you respect. And now you're going to waste some of their day to complain. Is that really what you want to do with a valued relationship? You say, well, they're my friend, or they're my coach, or they're my mentor, or they're whatever. So yeah, they have to listen to me. No. You get to talk to them. So don't turn a valued relationship into your personal trash can. Make sure that you're taking care of that relationship and you're investing back in them. And then he gave that huge little insight. And that's the thing about conversations. Everybody wants mentorship and everybody wants, to level up, but you got to know how it happens. It's many times it's happening in a room that you can't get access to on your own. And it's about listening into conversations that are kind of over your head and picking up on insights and context clues, and then figuring out how you're going to try, apply, and multiply them personally, professionally, and otherwise. And so you got to learn how to listen. You got to learn how to listen. And maybe it's like a half sentence. Maybe it's just a phrase, but it sparks something and it can send you down a whole new trail of discovery and development. I'll give you one example. He was talking about if you treat a valued relationship well, not just like a trash can, but you actually appreciate and reciprocate what's happening in that moment, they may actually open up and share a similar situation that they're in, and then y'all can collaborate together. And that doesn't happen because you can ask surface level questions and talk about surface level things, but it's when you actually build the trust and the rapport that they begin to open up, and now you're getting feedback as well as like actual data that you can begin to work with together, and actually turning your key relationships, your friends, your coworkers, your mentors into allies in solving new problems together. I mean, all of this has been really, really good, but I just kind of want to acknowledge how many different powerful moments there were. I encourage you to share this, subscribe, and help us get these conversations out to other people. Talked about giving your 100%, but learning how to change the direction. Maybe you need to keep giving your 100%, but it's just not in the right direction. Maybe kind of make a small adjustment and you'll see a breakthrough there. He talked about always having something to teach, other people. Gave, professional example, personal example, trying to stay current in those key relationships. If you value a relationship, you want to stay current with them, stay in the current season of life that they're in, and learn with the ability, with the intentionality to impart and to help and serve them in the current season of their life. And then he just kind of hit the home run right there at the end. I mean, after all of these points on the board, man, just knocked it out with a home run. And I think Joshua knew, what Prepare to Go There is all about, because he's been a long time viewer. And he talked about having that pre-planning and actually putting one day aside to do that as a project, to get a landscape of your life, update it, and then, be very intentional and tactical about how you're going to pioneer the next week. So, man, I'm just very, very grateful. We are wrapping up. I do have a call to action and kind of an update about what's happening. But first, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching live. Thank you for being a part of these replays. Thank you for sharing these videos. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. It really means a lot. And I know how much this kind of format has meant to me. And I want to just share that with other people. I love the very tight, distilled, presentations. I love it where it's like either scripted or well packaged, but there is something to say about going on the journey. And that's where a lot of you are. A lot of you're doing leadership and you just need that encouragement and what I call fuel for your focus. It's like kind of building a campfire. You just need something that's going to be flammable. You don't need designer wood. You don't need to source out the best wood, the perfect wood. You just need something that's going to help you fuel your focus. And I've found just having a fresh conversation in my in my head and in my heart, keeps me focused and reminds me, hey, remember your future, remember what you're going for, remember what's possible, and keep putting in the work today. And so, I was just kind of modeling the workflow that has helped me, which is, man, put this thing on in the car or when you're working out, replay these conversations and just let it get in, your thinking and your working, and just give your future focus the fuel that it needs to keep going, keep growing. Powerful stuff. Guys, we are wrapping up season 2 very quickly. Next week is the last installment of season 2. We've gone another 20 weeks already, and so that should really excite you and also grab your attention. Do not let another 20 weeks go by unchecked. You need to stop every day at the door and make sure that you have a plan to make it awesome. Don't settle for a level 2 day when you can have a level 10 day. Don't settle for a level 2 week when you can have a level 10 week. Don't settle for a level 2 month when you can go for a level 10 month. Don't settle. Don't plateau on a level 2 year when you can have a level 10 year. And that is why it's so important to lead yourself and stay focused on your future, because you're always going to have to make decisions that you can run with, that you can actually put in action. And then it doesn't matter whether it was awesome or awful or maybe awkward in between, you're still going to have to know what's coming up next, so that way you can make a better decision and you can implement your intentions incrementally yet intuitively. And so keep showing up, be a part of these conversations. I'm going to take a strategic pause on the YouTube channel. I'm going to kind of reset and collect my gains. That was a great episode. You can check that out. I'm going to reset my gain, or gather my gains, collect my gains, and use that as an opportunity to celebrate my wife's birthday, which is in the summertime. And then I'm going to come back, with more focus, more fire, more passion coming into this leadership journey. I am going to level up. I got to just prepare you. I will get the details ironed out pretty soon, but I am very excited about leveling up for you, with you. And so the format is going to look different yet again. I like that. I like that season 1 was daily. I like that season 2 was weekly. We'll see what season 3 looks like, but just be a part of this journey. Be a part of, putting in the work day by day, working on your future now. And you're like, okay, Peter, I'm taking the quiz, I'm watching the podcast. What is my next step? And for you, I would say your next step is to take the course, Pioneer the Year. Pioneer the Year is my flagship digital course. It's all about learning how to turn the repeat years into new frontiers. So many of us, without knowing, we just kind of get into autopilot, and we can handle it day by day, week by week, but it's really difficult to carry the burden of regret when you look back and you say, what did I do with the past year? Or what did I do with the past 3 years, or the past 5 years, or the last 15 years? What have I been doing? I've just been kind of like on autopilot, and I don't know exactly when that moment is. But you always have this kind of rude awakening where it's always inconvenient and it's very embarrassing. And you look up and you look at your health, or you look at your finances, or you look at your relationships, or you look at just the trajectory of your life, and you're like, what have I been doing with my life? I'm stuck in a repeat year cycle. I've been kind of doing the same thing over and over again. I know that I have different stories. I've been visiting different places and doing different jobs. But at the end of the day, when it's all boiled down, I've been in the same season or quality of life. And there's so much more that's inside of me. There's so much more that I want to go for. And I've been thinking that it'll just come with more time, but now all that time has come and gone, and it has really just shot holes in my theory. So I need a different strategy. And if that's you, I really want you to go to pioneertheyear.com and enroll in this digital course. You're going to go through 4 modules that will guide you through with the best coaching available. I am convinced of it because I am both a student and a coach. And so I'm seeing it from both sides. And I know that this is some of the best thinking on life planning and leadership that's going to help you not just go through the year, but actually pioneer the year. And I'm not just talking about projects, where you want to do one specific thing. I'm talking about a 360 view of you that is completely transformed in a year by year process where you're not just on it, on an on day or an on season, but you know how to stay on and not fall off your focus all year long. And that's my passion for you, because honestly, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take you knowing, how do I pioneer? I cannot fear the future. I have to pioneer the future. I cannot wait or procrastinate. I have to take action today. And a lot of us just didn't have this taught. We didn't learn this in high school. Maybe you didn't learn it from your parents. You didn't learn it even in, a church community. And you don't know what you don't know. And so I don't want you to waste time trying to find all this stuff, kind of foraging on the internet for pieces here, there, and everywhere. And then you kind of have to cobble it together. And then you have to filter whether that person says, what they mean and mean what they say. Guys, don't do it. If you have been going on this leadership journey and you believe in what we've been talking about, which is leading yourself, staying focused on your future. We need more leaders, not fewer. Those leaders have to be better prepared, and they've got to be ready to actually step up to the challenges. Then get in on this coaching course, and you'll really benefit from it. Go to pioneertheyear.com and check it out. The 4 big modules you'll go through, figuring out how to overcome the clutter that you're going to face, overcome indecisions, overcome self-sabotage, and overcome apathy. And it's a fun ride. I really want you to go on this journey. You'll take in a lot of insights and get a lot of tools. Plus, on the platform, there's an opportunity for more coaching with me and in groups. So check it out. I would love to hear that you made the choice before summer comes and goes, that you say, I'm going to pioneer this year. I'm not going to lose this year. I'm going to make it count. And with that, I will head out. Thank you all so much for investing in your leadership, because it really does ripple out relationally far and wide. Remember, you're going places. I believe it. That's why I keep showing up. That's why I want you to go the distance and make a difference. And I want you to stay encouraged, because what you're doing matters. So remember, you're going places, but prepare to go there. See you later, guy. See you later.